44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50.
At night, the sea cracks against the ship.
Fear, whispers, screams,
Falls silent, hushed.
Spewed from our country, forgotten, bound to the dark edge of the earth.
Alone, frightened, nameless,
In the stinking hole of hell.
We'll remember England together.
Hunger! Funny. Doesn't start in the stomach, but in the mind. A picture flits in and out of your head. Something you've eaten last week. Roast beef with salt and grated horseradish.
I don't know why I did it. Love, I suppose.
A giant canoe drifts onto the sea. Clouds billowing from upright oars. This is a dream that has lost its way. Best to leave it alone.
Was it necessary to cross 15,000 miles of ocean to erect another Tyburn gallows site?
I should think you would make the convicts feel at home.
This land is under English law. The court found them guilty and sentenced them accordingly. There, a bald-eyed Korea.
But hanging?
Only the 3 who were found guilty of stealing from the colony stores. And there, on the eucalyptus, a flock of Cockatoo galarita, the sulfur-crusted cockatoo. You have been made the governor-in-chief of a paradise of birds, Arthur.
And I hope not of a human hell, Davy. Don't shoot yet, Watkin. Let's observe them. Could we not be more humane?
Justice and humaneness have never gone hand in hand. The law is not a sentimental comedy.
I'm not suggesting they go without punishment. It is the spectacle of hanging I object to. The convicts will feel nothing has changed and will go back to their old ways.
The convicts never left their old ways, Governor, nor do they intend to.
3 months is not long enough to decide that. You're speaking too loud, Watkin.
I commend your endeavor to oppose the baneful influence of vice with the harmonizing arts of civilization, Governor. But I suspect your edifice will collapse without the mortar of fear.
Have these men lost all fear of being flogged?
John R. Scott has already been sentenced to 150 lashes for assault.
The shoulder blades are exposed at 100 lashes. Not around 250 to 500 lashes. You're probably condemning a man to death anyways.
With the disadvantage that the death is slow, unobserved, and cannot serve as a short example.
Harry?
The convicts laugh at hanging, sir. They watch them all the time.
It's their favorite form of entertainment, I should say.
Perhaps because they've never been offered anything else.
Perhaps we should build an opera house for the convicts, what?
We learned to love such things because they were offered to us when we were children or young men. Surely no one is born naturally cultured. I'll have the gun now.
We don't even have any books here, except for the odd play and a few Bibles. And most of the convicts can't read. So, let us return to the matter at hand, which is the punishment of these convicts, not their education.
Who are the condemned men, Harry?
Thomas Barrett, age 17, transported 7 years for stealing 1 U sheet.
17?
It does seem to prove the criminal tendency
proves
is
nothing.
innate.
James Freeman, age 25, Irish, transported 14 years for assault of a sailor, killed at Shadwell Dock.
I'm surprised he wasn't hanged in England.
Handy Baker, Marine and thieves ringleader.
He pleaded that it was wrong to put the convicts and the Marines on the same rations, and that he could not work on so little food. He almost swayed us.
I do think it was an unfortunate decision. My men are in a ferment of discontent.
Our governor-in-chief would say that it is justice, Watkin, and so it is. It is also justice to hang these men.
The sooner the better, I believe. There's much excitement in the colonies about the hanging. It's the theatre, Governor! You cannot change that.
I would prefer them see real plays, fine language, sentiment.
No doubt David Garrick would relish the prospect of spending 8 months at sea for the pleasure of entertaining a group of convicts and the odd savage.
I never liked Garrick, I always preferred Macklin.
I'm a Kemble man myself. We will need a hangman.
Harry? You will have to find someone to fill that hideous job.
Sir.
Shot,
sir.
It is my belief that the hanging should take place tomorrow. The quick execution of justice for the good of the colony.
The good of the colony? Oh look, we frightened a kangaroo.
There is also Dorothy Handlin, 82, who stole a biscuit from Albert Sideway.
Surely we don't have to hang an 82-year-old woman.
That won't be necessary. She hanged herself this morning.
Dreamt, my beloved Alicia, that I was walking with you, and that you was in your riding habit. Oh, my dear woman, when shall I be able to hear from you? All the officers dined with the governor. Never have I heard of any one single person having such greater power vested in him as Captain Phillip has by his commission as Governor-in-Chief of New South Wales. Dined on a cold collation, but the mutton which had been killed yesterday morning was full of maggots. Nothing will keep 24 hours in this dismal country, I find. Went out shooting after breakfast. I only shot one cockatoo. They are the most beautiful birds. One of the corporals ordered Major Russell and one of the corporals to flog with a rope Elizabeth Morden for being impertinent to Captain Campbell. The corporal didn't play with her but laid it home, which I was very glad to see. She has long been fishing for it. On Sunday, as usual, kissed your dear beloved image 1,000 times. Was very much frightened by the lightning as it broke very near my tent. Several of the convicts have run away. If I'm not made first lieutenant soon. Harry,
I saw the light on in your tent.
I was writing my journal. Is there any trouble?
No. I just came. Talk, you know. If I wrote a journal about my life, it would fill volumes, Ralph. Volumes. My travels with the captain, His Excellency now, no less. Governor-in-Chief, power to raise armies, build cities. I still call him plain Captain Philip. He likes it for me. The war in America, and before that, Ralph, my life in London. That would fill a volume on its own. Not what you would call a good life. Sometimes I look at the convicts and think, Harry Brewer, one of those could have been you if you didn't join the Navy when you did. Duckling's gone silent on me again. Did you know that I saved her life? She was sentenced to be hung at Newgate for stealing 2 candlesticks, but I got her name put on the transport list. But when I remind her of that, she says she would not have cared. 18 years old, and she would not have cared if she was turned off. These women are sold before they're 10, Ralph. The captain says we should treat them with kindness.
How can you treat such women with kindness?
No.
Why does he think that?
Not all the officers find them disgusting, Ralph. Haven't you ever been? You know.
Good God! Never! The thought of it! His Excellency never seems to notice me. He finds time for Davy Collins, Lieutenant Dawes.
That's because Captain Collins is going to write on the customs of the Indians here, and Lieutenant Dawes is recording the stars.
I could write about the Indians.
He did suggest to Captain Tench that we do something to educate the convicts. Put on a play or something. But Captain Tench just laughed. He doesn't like Captain Tench.
A play? Who would act in a play?
The convicts, of course. He's thinking of talking to Lieutenant Johnson, but I think Lieutenant Johnson just wants to study the plants.
I read the tragedy of Lady Jane Grey on the ship. It is such a moving and uplifting play. But how could a whore play Lady Jane?
Some of those women are good women, Ralph. I believe my duckling is good. It's not her fault. If only she would look at me once, react!
Is His Excellency really serious about putting on a play?
But when a captain decides something, Ralph...
If I went to him... No, it would be better if you did, Harry. You could go to His Excellency and tell him how much I like the theatre.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'll tell him.
Duckling could be in it if you wanted.
I wouldn't want her looked at by the men.
If His Excellency doesn't like Lady Jane, we could find something else. A comedy, perhaps.
I'll speak to him, Ralph. I like you. It's good to talk. Thank you, Ralph.
Harry, you won't forget to talk to His Excellency about the play.
Weird, you were looking for some women, Lieutenant. Here I am.
I've asked to see some women to play certain parts in a play.
I can play, Lieutenant. I can play with any part you like. There ain't nothing that puts Meg long off. That's how I got my name, Dirty Meg.
The play has 4 particular parts for young women.
You don't want young women for your peculiar, Lieutenant. Just shut your eyes and I'll play you very nice.
I don't think you understand, Long. Here's the play. It's called The Recruiting Officer.
Oh, I can do that too.
What?
Recruiting. Anybody you like. Who do you want?
I want to try some out.
Good idea, Lieutenant. Good idea.
Now, if you don't mind. Long.
We thought you was a magical.
What?
You know, a fluter, a molly, a prissy cove, a girl. You had no shelag on the ship, nor here neither. Maybe on the ship you were seasick, but all these months, and now we hear you're looking for some women, all at once. Well, I'm glad to hear that, Lieutenant. I am. Let me know what you want, Meg. Dirty old Meg. Ta-ta.
Ah! Mr. Clark! I'm calling you Mr. Clark as one calls Mr. Garrick, Mr. Garrick. We have not had the pleasure of meeting before.
I've seen you on the ship.
Different circumstances, Mr. Clark, best forgotten. I was once a gentleman. My fortune has turned. The wheel. You're doing a play, I hear. Ah, Drury Lane. Mr. Garrick, the lovely Peg Woffington. He was so cruel to her.
You say you were a gentleman, Simon.
Top of my profession, Mr. Clark. Pickpocket, born and bred in Bermondsey. Do you know London, sir? Don't you miss it? In these, my darkest hours, I remember my happy days in the great city. London Bridge at dawn, hand on the cold iron for good luck. Down Cheapside with the market traders. Never refuse a mince pie. Into St. Paul's churchyard. Oh, I do love a good church, Mr. Clark. And begin work in Bond Street. There. I wonder, can you see him, Mr. Clark? There. Rich. Plump, not of the best class, standing in front of the market stalls, pluckering up the courage. I pluck her. And then it's time for coffee until 5, and then the pinnacle, the glory of the day, Drury Lane. The actors, the coaches, the gentlemen watching, the ladies tittering, the clothes, the perfumes, the handkerchiefs. You see the skill, Mr. Clark. Mr. Clark, I beg you, I entreat you, allow me to perform on your stage. Allow me to feel the thrill of a play about to begin. Ah, I see ladies approaching. Our future Woffingtons, Siddons. Ladies. Mr. Clark, I shall await your word of command. I shall be in the wings.
You asked to see Mary Brennan, Lieutenant? Here she is.
Yes, the governor has asked me to put on a play. You know what a play is, Brennan?
I've seen lots of plays, Lieutenant. So has Mary.
Have you, Brennan?
Yes.
Can you remember which plays you've seen?
There was one.
Ah, of course you can. I can't remember what they were called, but I always knew they were going to end badly. I knew right from the beginning. How does this one end, Lieutenant?
It ends happily. It's called The Recruiting Officer.
Ah, Mary wants to be in your play, Lieutenant, and so do I.
Do you think you have a talent for acting, Brennan?
Of course she does, and so do I. I want to play Mary's friend.
You know The Recruiting Officer, Bryant?
Nah. But in all those plays, there's always a friend. That's because when a girl needs to talk to somebody, she talks to a friend. So I'll be Mary's friend.
Sylvia. That's the part I want to try Brennan for. Doesn't have a friend. She has a cousin. But they don't really like each other.
Ah, Mary doesn't always like me.
The Reverend Johnson told me you can read and write, Brennan.
She went to school until she was 10. She used to read to us on the ship. We loved it. It put us to sleep.
Shall we try reading some of the play?
Does she have a sweetheart?
Yes, but this is a scene with her father.
What's the name of her lover?
Captain Plum.
A Captain Mary!
Start here, Brandon.
Whilst there is life, there is hope, sir.
Oh, I like that, Lieutenant. This is a good play, I can tell.
She hasn't finished the line yet. That's good, Brandon. Carry on.
Whilst there is life, there is hope, sir. Perhaps my brother may recover.
Excellent, Brent. You could read a little louder. Now I'll read. Poor Owen. But the decree is just, I was happy with the death of my father, for he left me an estate. But now I am punished by the loss of an heir to inherit mine. It's a comedy. They don't really mean it. It's to make people laugh. The death of your brother makes you sole heiress to my estate, which you know is about £1,200 a year.
£1,200? It must be a comedy.
My desire of being punctual in my obedience requires that you would be plain in your commands, sir.
Well said, Mary, well said.
I think that's enough for now, Brennan. You read very well. Would you also be able to copy the play? We only have 2 copies.
Of course you will. Where do I come in, Lieutenant? The cousin?
Can you read, Bryant?
Not those marks in the books, Lieutenant. But I can read other things. I read dreams very well, Lieutenant. Very well.
I'm not certain you're right for Melinda. I'm thinking of someone else. And if you can't read...
Mary will read me the lines, Lieutenant.
There's Rose.
Rose. I like the name. I'll be Rose. Who is she?
A country girl.
I grew up in Devon, Lieutenant. I'm perfect for Rose. What does she do?
Well, it's complicated. She falls in love with Sylvia. But it's because she thinks Sylvia's a man. And she sleeps with her. Rose with Sylvia, Sylvia too with Rose. But nothing happens.
It doesn't. Nothing.
Because Sylvia's a man. Of course she can't.
Play the flute. She's not the only one around here. I'll do Rose.
I would like to hear you.
I don't know my lines yet, Lieutenant. When I know them, you can hear me do them. Come on, Mary.
I didn't say you could... Bryant, I'm not certain you're the right part. I'm not certain I want you in the play.
Oh, yes, you do, Lieutenant. Mary will read me the lines and I, Lieutenant, will read you your dreams.
Here's your cousin, Melinda, Sylvia's cousin.
You can't have her in the play, Lieutenant.
Why not?
You don't have to be able to read the future to know that Liz Morden is going to be hanged.
I understand you want me in your play, Lieutenant. Is that it?
Yes.
I'll look at it and let you know.
Well, I don't know about...
Unbelievable!
A frittering play!
Here?
To celebrate the king's birthday on June the 4th.
If a frigating ship doesn't appear soon, we'll all be struck with stricturing, starvation, and youth. A play!
Not putting on a play won't bring us a supply ship, Robbie.
And you say you want those contumelious convicts to act in this play? The convicts.
The play has several parts for women. We have no other women here.
Your wife accepted, Reverend.
My wife abhors anything of that nature. After all,
Actresses aren't famed for their morals.
Neither are our women convicts.
True. Well, how can they be when some of our own officers are setting them up as mistresses?
Filthy, thieving, lying whores. And now we're going to have to watch them flout their flitty wares on the stage.
No one will be forced to watch the play.
I believe there's a partial lunar eclipse that night. I shall have to watch that. The southern hemisphere is full of wonders. Have you looked at the constellations?
Constellations? Plays? This is a convict colony. The prisoners are here to be punished. And we're here to make sure they get punished.
Absolutely.
Constellations, Jemmy? Constellations.
Marines! War! Discipline! Service! His Majesty!
His Majesty!
We are indeed here to supervise the convicts, who are already being punished by their long exile.
He's right.
Surely they can also be reformed.
We are talking about criminals, often hardened criminals. They have a habit of vice and crime. Many criminals seem to be born that way. It is in their nature.
Rousseau would say that we have made them that way, Watkin. Man is born free, and yet everywhere he is in chains.
Yes, but Rousseau is a Frenchman.
A Frenchman? What can you expect? We're going to listen to a foraging Frenchman now.
Actually, Rousseau was Swiss.
True.
Good soldiers, the Swiss!
Surely you believe man can be redeemed, Reverend.
By the grace of God, and a belief in the true church, yes. But Christ never proposed putting on a play for his disciples, but he didn't forbid it either. It must depend on the play.
He did propose treating sinners, especially women who have sinned, with compassion.
Yes.
Most of the convict women have committed small crimes, a tiny theft.
You're right. But we all know of your compassion, which is to say, passion for the women convicts, George.
Here's to all women!
To women, I would simply say that if you want to build a civilization, there are more important things than a play. If you want to teach the convicts something, teach them to farm, to build houses.
Yes.
Teach them a sense of respect for property.
He's not wrong.
Teach them thrift so they don't eat a week's rations in one night. But above all, teach them how to work.
Here.
Not how to sit around laughing at a comedy.
Some of these men will have finished their sentence in a few years. Should we not encourage them now to think in a free and responsible manner?
Perhaps. I don't see how a comedy about two lovers will do that, Arthur.
The theater is an expression of civilization. We belong to a great country, which has spawned great playwrights. Shakespeare, Marlowe, Johnson, and even in our own time, Sheridan.
Good men.
Yes.
The convicts will be speaking a refined, literate language and expressing sentiments of a delicacy they are not used to. It will remind them that there is more to life than crime, punishments, and we, this colony of a few hundred, will be watching this together. We will laugh. We may be moved. We may even think a little. Can you suggest something else that would provide such an evening, Watkin?
Mapping the stars gave me more enjoyment, personally.
I don't think it's a good idea to have the convicts laughing at officers, Arthur.
No! No discipline!
We want this vice-ridden vermin to enjoy themselves.
I'm sure they'd only laugh at certain characters. What's the play about, Ralph?
It is about this recruiting officer and his friend, and they fall in love with two young ladies from Shrewsbury. And after some difficulties, they marry them.
It sanctions holy matrimony then?
Yes, it does.
That's all right.
Look, a crime is a crime. You commit a crime or you don't. If you commit a crime, you are a criminal. Surely that is logical.
It is.
It is like the savages here. A savage is a savage if he behaves in a savagely manner. To expect anything else is foolish. Look, they can't even build a proper canoe.
They can be educated.
Actually, the savages, as you call them, seem happy enough as they are. They do not want to build houses or canoes. But neither do they suffer from greed or ambition.
Unlike some.
Which can't be said about other convicts. But listen, I don't see what this has to do with the play. It is at most a possible diversion, an entertainment to while away the hours of the idle.
The convicts! Bone idle!
We're whiling away precious hours now. Put the play on, don't put it on. It won't change the shape of the universe.
But it could change the nature of our little society.
Second Lieutenant Clark changed society.
William?
My dear Ralph, a bunch of convicts making fools of themselves, mouthing off words no doubt written by some London ass, will hardly change our society.
George Farquhar was not an ass, and he was from Ireland.
An Irishman. I have to sit there and listen to an Irishman.
Irish! Wild! Wild!
The play doesn't propagate Catholic doctrine, does it?
He was also an officer
Crawling for promotion.
of the Grenadiers.
Never liked the Grenadiers myself.
Grenades, eh? Turn and run, eh? Backs!
The play is called The Recruiting Officer.
Ah, yes. I saw it in London, I believe. Yes, very funny. Ah, yes, Sergeant Kite. The devious ways he would serve his captain.
Your part, Ralph.
William, if you cannot contribute anything useful to the discussion, keep quiet.
What's the plot, Ralph?
It is about this recruiting officer and his friend, and they fall in love with two young ladies from Shrewsbury, and they marry them.
So it sanctions holy matrimony then?
Yes, it does.
Again, teach them how to work. Laughing at a comedy will do nothing for them.
Hear, hear.
The Greeks believed that it was a citizen's duty to watch a play. It was a kind of work and that it required patience, judgment, all social virtues.
And the Greeks were conquered by the more practical Romans, Arthur.
Ah, yes, you have a point, Watkin. The Romans built their bridges, but they also spent many centuries wishing they were Greeks. And they themselves were conquered by barbarians, or their own small and corrupt spirits.
Are you saying that the Roman Empire would not have fallen if the theater had been better?
Perhaps, why not? In my own small way, in just a few hours, I've seen something change. I asked some of the convict women to read me some lines earlier. These women, who often behave no better than animals. And it seemed to me, as one or two, I'm not saying all of them, not at all, but one or two, reading those well-balanced lines of Mr. Farquhar, they seemed to acquire a dignity. They seemed to lose some of their corruption. There was one, Mary Brennan. She read so well. Perhaps this play will keep herself from selling herself to the first marine that offers her bread.
She'll sell herself to him instead.
So that's the way the wind blows.
A tempest!
I speak about her, but in a small way this could affect all the convicts and even ourselves. We could forget our worries about the supplies, the hangings and the floggings, and think of ourselves in the theatre, in London, with our wives and children, that is. We could transcend the darker, transcend the brutality, remember our better nature, and remember England.
Where did the wee lieutenant learn to speak?
He must have had one of his dreams.
You are making claims that cannot be substantiated, Ralph. It's 2 hours, possibly of excitement, possibly of boredom. And we will lose the labor of the convicts during the time they are learning the play.
Hear, hear.
It's a waste, an unnecessary waste.
Precisely.
I'm still concerned about the content, Ralph.
The content of a play is irrelevant.
Even if it teaches insubordination, disobedience, revolution.
Since we have agreed, it can do no harm.
Wait a minute.
What?
Since it might possibly do some good.
Excuse me, what?
Since the only one who seems violently opposed to it is Major Ross, for reasons he has not made quite clear.
Completely untrue.
I suggest we allow Ralph to rehearse his play.
This is not an
Does
objection.
anyone disagree?
This is
Thank
not
you for taking your disagreement into consideration, Robbie. Thank you, Captain Campbell. Dawes, please come back to Earth for a moment and honor us with your attention.
What? No, why not? As long as I don't have to watch it.
Very well, Johnson.
I'm for it.
Fatty,
I'm against it.
could you tell us why?
I don't trust the director.
Tench,
Waste of time.
the Reverend, our moral guide, has no objections.
Of course, I haven't read it yet.
This is not an objective summing up, Davy. This is usual of your high-handed manner.
I don't think you're one to accuse others of a high-handed manner.
Gentlemen, please.
Your Excellency, it is for the play, and I myself am convinced that it will prove to be a most interesting experiment. So I suggest we conclude with our well wishes to Ralph for a successful production.
I will not accept this! You willy-wally wobbly words, Greeks, Romans, experiment to get your own way. You don't take anything seriously. But I know this play. This play, order will become disorder.
Here.
The theater leads to threatening theory, and you, Governor, you have His Majesty's commission to build castles, cities, raise armies, administer a military colony, not fandangle about with a lewd play.
Exactly.
I'm going to write to the Admiralty about this.
You're out of turn, Robbie.
Confusion!
Why is Robbie so upset? So much fuss over a play.
Major Ross will never forgive you, Ralph.
I have summed up the feelings of the assembled company, Arthur. But the last word must be yours.
The last word will be the play, gentlemen.
It's almost beginning to look like a town. Look, Duckling, there's the captain's house. I can see him in his garden. Captain! The trees look more friendly from here. Did you know that the eucalyptus tree can't be found anywhere else in the world? Sydney. They could have found a better name. Mobsbury. Lagtown. Oh, Duckling Cove, eh? The governor said it had to be named after the Home Secretary. The courthouse looks impressive, all in brick. Why don't you look, Duckling? Lieutenant Clark's orange trees on his island are doing well. It's the turnips he's worried about. He thinks they're being stolen, but he's too busy with his play to go and have a look. Would you like to see the orange trees, Duckling? I thought you'd enjoy rowing to Ralph's Island. I thought it would remind you of rowing on the Thames. Look at how blue the water is.
If I was rowing on the Thames, I'll be free. I need freedom sometimes, Harry.
You have to earn your freedom with good behavior.
Why didn't you let them hang me? You could have taken my corpse with you, Harry. I wish I was dead. At least when you're dead, you're free.
Do you know Lieutenant Clark's play? Do you want to be in it? Dabby Bryan is in it, and Liz Morden. Do you want to be in it? You'd rehearse in the evenings with Lieutenant Clark.
And he can watch over me instead of you.
I'm trying to make you happy, Duckling. If you don't
I'll be the play. How's Lieutenant Clark going to manage Liz Morden?
He wants her to be in it. He believes there's some hope for her yet.
The latitude of Sydney is 43 degrees, 39 minutes south. And that's...
Are you remembering your lines, Dabby?
What lines? No. I was remembering Devon. I was on my way back to Bigbury Bay.
You promised Lieutenant Clark you'd learn your lines.
I want to go back. I want to hear a wall of stone. I want to see the Atlantic breaking into the estuary. I can bring any boat into any harbour, in any weather. I can do it as well as the governor.
Dabby, what about your lines?
I'm not spending the rest of my life in this flat, brittle, burnt-out country. Oh, give me some English rain.
It rains here.
It's not the same. I could recognise English rain anywhere. And Devon rain, Mary, is as soft as your breasts. As soft as Lieutenant Clark's dimpled cheeks.
Dabby, don't.
You're wasting time, girl. He's ripe for the plucking. You can always tell with men. They begin to walk sideways, and if you don't...
Don't start. I listened to you once before.
What would you have done without that lanky sailor drooling over you?
I'll never wash the sin away.
If God didn't want women to sell themselves, he wouldn't have created men who'd pay for their bodies.
But if you don't agree to it, you're not scum. You're a martyr.
You have to be a virgin to be a martyr, Mary. And you didn't come on that ship a virgin. A.H. I love thee to the heart. Tattooed right up there.
That was different. That was love.
The second difficulty about being a martyr is that you have to be dead to qualify. Well, you didn't die, thanks to me. You had 3 pounds of beef a week instead of 2. 2 extra ounces of cheese.
Which you were happy to eat.
We women have to look after each other. Let's learn the lines.
You sold me that first day so you and your husband could eat.
Are we learning these lines or not?
How can I play Sylvie? She's brave and strong. She couldn't have done what I've done.
She didn't spend 8 months and 1 week on a convict ship. Anyway, you can pretend you're her.
No, I have to be her.
Why?
Because that's acting.
No way I'm being Rose. She's an idiot.
It's not such a big part. It won't matter so much.
You didn't tell me that before.
I hadn't read it carefully. Okay, come on. Let's do the scene between Sylvia and Rose. I have rested, but indifferently. And I believe my bedfellow was as little pleased. Poor Rose! Here she comes.
Ha! I could have done something for Rose. I should play Sylvia.
Good morrow, my dear. How do you this morning? Now you say, just as I was last night, neither better nor worse for you.
Just as I was last night, neither better nor worse for you.
You can't do the play without me. I'm in it. Where's the lieutenant?
She's teaching me some lines.
Why aren't you teaching me the lines?
We're not doing your scenes.
Well, do them.
You can read. You can read your own lines.
I don't want to learn them on my own. Well, go on. I'm waiting.
What are you waiting for, Liz Morden? A blind man to buy your wares?
We'll do the first scene between Melinda and Sylvia, all right?
Yeah, the first scene.
You start. You start. Welcome to town, Cousin Sylvia.
Welcome to town, Cousin Sylvia.
Go on. I envied you.
I envied you. You read it first.
Why?
I want to hear how you do it.
Why?
So then I can do it different.
I envied you your retreat in the country, for Shrewsbury, methinks, and all your heads of shire.
Why don't you read it? You can't read!
What? I'll teach you the lines.
What is it? Are you a friend now? Is that it? Mary the holy innocent and thieving bitch?
Good morning, ladies! And why aren't we at work instead of at each other's throats?
I wouldn't talk of throats if I were you, Mr. Hangman, Catch Freeman,
Crap merchant,
crapping cull switcher, roper.
I was only asking what you were doing, you know? Friendly like?
Stick to your ropes, my little Gaylord. Don't bother the actresses.
Actresses? You're doing a play?
Better than dancing the Paddington Frisk in your arms, noser.
I'll nose on you, Liz, if you're not careful.
I'd sooner take a leap in the dark than turn on my own kind. Now take your whirligates and get out of our sight. We have lines to learn.
No!
Sylvia. It says you salute.
Welcome to town, Cousin Sylvia.
Dreamt, my beloved Betsy, that I was with you and that I thought I was going to be arrested. I hope to God that there is nothing the matter with you, my tender Elitzia, or that of our dear boy. My darling, tender wife, I am reading Proverbs, waiting till midnight, the Sabbath, that I might kiss your picture as usual. Let thy fountain be blessed, and rejoice with the wife of thy youth. Good God! What a scene of whoredom is going on there in the women's camp. Very hot this night. Almost midnight, my Betsy. Almost midnight. And behold, there she met him, a woman, with the attire of an harlot, and subtle of heart. So she caught him, and kissed him with an impudent face. So she caught him, and kissed him with an impudent face, midnight. This, being Sunday, took your picture out of its prison, and kissed it. Mwah. Mwah. God bless you, my sweet woman.
Oh, forgive me, sir. Please forgive me. I didn't want to disturb your prayers. I say 50 Hail Marys myself every night, and 200 on the days when I'll wait outside, sir.
What do you want?
I'll wait quietly, sir. Don't mind me.
Why aren't you in the camp at this hour?
I should be. God forgive me, I should be, but I'm not. I'm here, and I must have a word with you, sir.
Get back to the camp immediately. I'll speak to you in the morning, Ketch.
Don't call me that, sir. I beg you, don't call me by that name. That's what I came to talk to you about, sir.
I was about to go to sleep.
I understand, sir, and you're so in peace, but I won't take up your time, sir. I'll be brief.
Well?
Don't you want to finish your prayers? I can be very quiet. I used to watch my mother. May her poor soul rest in peace. I just watch her say her prayers every night.
Get on with it!
When I say my prayers, I have a terrible doubt. How can I be sure that God is forgiving me? What if He will forgive me, but He hasn't forgiven me yet? That's why I don't want to die, sir. That's why I can't die. Not until I'm sure. Are you sure?
I'm not a convict. I don't sin.
To be sure, forgive me, sir, but if we're in God's power, then surely He makes us sin. I was given a guardian angel when I was born, like all the good Catholics, but why didn't He look after me better? I think He must have stayed in Ireland. I think the devil tempted my mother to London, and both our guardian angels stayed behind. Have you ever been to Ireland, sir? It's a beautiful country. If I was an angel, I wouldn't have left it either. When it came within 6 fields of Westminster, the devils took over. But it's God's judgment I'm frightened of, and the women's, they're so hard. Why is that?
Why have you come here?
I'm coming to that, sir.
Well, hurry up then.
I'm speaking as fast as I can, sir.
Hurry up then.
James, sir. James. Daniel, Patrick. After my 3 uncles, good men they were too, didn't go to London. My mother hadn't brought us to London, may God have peace to her soul and breathe pity into the hearts of hard women. Because the docks are in London, sir, and if I hadn't walked on the docks on that day, May 23rd, 1785. Do you remember it, sir? Shadwell Dock. If only we hadn't left, and then I wouldn't have been there, and nothing would have ever happened, and I wouldn't have become a coal heaver on Shadwell Dock on the 23rd of May when we refused to do the unloading because they're paying us so badly. Sir, I wasn't even near the sailor who got killed. I mean, he shouldn't have done the unloading. That was wrong of the sailors, but I didn't kill him. Well, maybe one blow. Not to look stupid, you know, just to show us what the lads, I mean, even if I wasn't, and they found my cudgel, but I just had that to look good, that's all. And they caught 5 at random, sir, and I was among the 5, and they found my cudgel, but again, I just had that to look good, that's all.
Freeman, I'm going to bed now.
I understand, sir, I understand, and when it happened again here, I actually had hopes of making a good life here. It's because I'm so friendly, see? So I go along, and then I'm the one that gets caught. That theft, I didn't do it. I was just there keeping a lookout, just help some friends. But when they say to you, you can either hang or be hanged, what do? Someone has to do it, and I try to do it well. God had mercy on the whore, the thief, the lame. Surely he'll forget the hangman. It's the women. They're without mercy, sir. Not like you and me, men, but what I wanted to say, sir, is that I heard them talking about the play. Some players came into our village once, and they were loved like the angels, Lieutenant. Like the angels. And the way the women watched them, the light of the spring dawn in their eyes. Lieutenant, I want to be an actor.
I would rather counsel than command. I don't propose this with the authority of a parent, but as the advice of your friend.
Friend. That's a good word. Short, but full of promise.
That you would take the coach this moment and go into the country.
Country? Can mean opposite things. It renews you with trees and grass. You go rest in the country. Or it crushes you with power. You die for your country. Your country doesn't want you. You're thrown out of your country. I like words. My father cleared the houses of the dead by the Thames, sell the old clothes to the poorhouses. He found a dictionary once, Johnson's dictionary, thick as a Bible, went from A to L. I started with the A's. Abecedarian, someone who teaches the alphabet or rudiments of literature. Abject, a man without hope.
What does indulgent mean?
How's it used?
You have been so careful, so indulgent to me.
It means ready to overlook faults. You have to be careful with words that begin with in. Injustice, most of that word is taken up with justice, but the in twists it inside out, makes it the ugliest word in the English language.
Guilty is an uglier word.
Innocent ought to be a beautiful word, but it isn't. It's full of sorrow, anguish,
I don't have much time. We start this in a few days. I have the biggest part.
You have a beautiful hand.
There's so much to copy, so many words.
I can write.
Why don't you tell Lieutenant Clark he's doing it?
No, I'm
Afraid?
diffident.
I'll tell him. Well, I won't. My friend Dabby will. She's...
Bold. Shy is not a bad word. It's soft.
But shame is a hard one.
Words with 2 L's are the worst. Lonely. Loveless.
Love is a good word.
That's because it only has 1 L. I like words with 1 L. Luck. Latitudinarian. Laughter.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Woo, we're ladies now. Wait till I tell my husband I've become a lady.
You, a lady?
It is with great pleasure that
Our pleasure, Mr. Clark, our pleasure.
we have many hard days of work ahead of us.
Work? I thought we was acting.
Yes, now let me introduce the company.
We've all met before, Lieutenant. You could say we know each other. You could say we know each other in the dark.
It's a theatrical custom. The company is formally introduced to each other. Mrs. Bryant.
Mrs. Bryant? Who's Mrs. Bryant?
It's the theatrical form of address, madam. You all may call me Mr. Sideways.
If I may proceed.
You're interrupting the director.
So we are, Mr. Hangman.
The ladies first.
Ladies indeed.
Mary Brennan, who is to play Sylvia. Liz Morden, who is to play Melinda. Duckling Smith, who is to play Lucy. Melinda's maid.
I'm not playing the maid of Liz Morton.
Why not?
I live with an officer. Who wouldn't like it?
Just because she lives chained up in that old tosspot garden.
Don't you dare talk about Harry!
You're not playing Morden's maid, Smith. You're playing Melinda's. And Dabby Bryant, who is to play Rose, a country girl.
From Devon.
School Joe.
Stop, bitch.
That's the ladies. Now, Captain Plume will be played by Henry Cable, who seems to be late. That's odd. I saw him an hour ago and he said he was going to your hut to learn some lines, Wisehammer.
An hour?
Sergeant Kite is to be played by John Arscott, who did say he would be late because he would be kept at work an extra hour.
An hour? You won't see him in an hour. You're not the only one with wrinkles in your ass, Dabby Bryant.
Justice Balance is to be played by James Freeman.
No way I'm doing a play with a Heyman. The word would stick in my throat.
You don't have any scenes with him, Smith. Mr. Worthy is to be played by Mr. Sideway.
I'm here!
And Captain Brazen is to be played by John Wiseham. The small parts are still to be cast. Now, I can't do the first scene until John Arscott appears.
There won't be a first scene.
Bryant, will you be quiet, please? So, the second scene. Wiseham, you can read Plume. No, I'll read Plume myself. So, Act 1, Scene 2. Captain Plume and Mr. Worthy.
That's me. I'm at your command.
The rest of you can watch and wait for your scenes. Now, should we begin by reading it?
No need, Mr. Clark. I know it.
Ah, well I'm afraid I shall have to read it.
I know Captain Plume's part too. Would you like me to do both?
I think it's better if I do it.
As you wish.
So, Sergeant Kite, that's John Oscott, has just left.
Running.
Bryant! Now, I'll read the line before Worthy's entrance. Not at present, 'tis indeed the picture of Worthy, but the life's departed. Sideway, where's he gone?
I'm preparing my entrance, Mr. Clark. I won't be a minute. Could you read the line again, please?
Not at present, 'tis indeed the picture of Worthy, but the life's departed. What's arms across Worthy?
Arms across. Yes, I'm sorry, Mr. Clark. I shall have to do it again. One second. Could you read the line again? Louder, please.
What arms across Worthy?
Someone stole my handkerchief. Who did it? Who pricked my handkerchief? Someone stolen my handkerchief. There's a pickpocket in the company, Mr. Clark.
Talk of the pot calling the kettle black.
Who did it?
I'm sure it will show up, Sideway. Let's go on.
Can't do my entrance without my handkerchief, Mr. Clark. I've been practicing all night. If I get my hands on you, dumb diver!
Let's assume Worthy has already entered.
Yes, Mr. Clark.
Now I say, what arms across Worthy? Methinks you should hold them open with a friend so near. I must expel this melancholy spirit.
Whoa! Whoa! Whoa!
What are you doing down there, Sideway?
I'm being melancholy. I saw Garrick being melancholy once. This is what he did. Hamlet, it was. Oh! That this too solid flesh would melt. Oh! That this too solid flesh would melt. Oh! That this too.
This is a comedy. It is perhaps a little lighter. Try simply to stand normally and look melancholy. The audience won't hear Captain Plume's lines if this song is so loud, Sideway.
I'm still establishing my melancholy.
A comedy needs to move quite fast. In fact, I think we'll cut this line and the two verses that follow and cut straight to Worthy greeting Plume.
Yes, I'm greeting. Like this. Plume! Now I'll change to say the next words. My dear Captain, see? Isn't this affection, Mr. Clark? If I put my hand on my heart like this? Now, welcome. I'm not quite sure how to do welcome.
I think if you just say the line.
Quite. Now,
what are you doing, Sideway?
I'm seeing that you're safe and sound returned. That's what the line says. Safe and sound returned.
You don't have to touch him. You can see that.
Yes, forgive me, Mr. Clark. I shall check his different parts with my eyes. Now I'll put it all together. Plume! My dear Captain, welcome. Safe and sound returned.
It's a very good attempt, Sideway.
Thank you, Mr. Clark.
Very theatrical.
Yes.
But you could be a little more, natural.
Natural? On the stage? Mr. Clark!
The audience need to believe you. Garrick, after all, was admired for his naturalness.
Garrick? Natural? Quite. I thought I was being Mr. Garrick, but never mind. Natural?
Perhaps you could look at me while saying the lines.
But the audience won't see my face.
The lines are said to Captain Plume. Let's move on. I say, I escaped safe from Germany. Shall we change it to America? It will make it more contemporary.
Yes, perhaps.
You can't change the words of the play, right?
Well. And sound, I hoped. You see, I have... Caesar, we're rehearsing. Would you...
I see that well, Monsieur Lieutenant. I see it says, piece of theatre. I've seen many pieces of theatre in my beautiful home island of Madagascar. I have decided to be in your piece of theatre.
There are no parts for you, Caesar.
There is always a part for Caesar.
All the parts have been taken.
I will play his servant.
Farquhar hasn't written a servant for the way.
There is always a black servant in a play.
He can play my part. I want to play something else.
There is always a black servant in a play.
There are no lines for it, Caesar.
I speak in French. It will make him a more high-up gentleman if he has a French servant. He will get the lady with the black servant. Very chic.
I'll think about it. Actually, I would like to rehearse the ladies now.
Yes.
They've been waiting very patiently and we don't have much time left. Freeman, would you go and see what's happened to Scott? Sideway.
Yes.
We'll come back to this scene another time. But that was very good.
Thank you,
Very
Mr.
good. But very good.
Thank you.
So, now, we will rehearse the first scene between Melinda and Sylvia. Morden and Brenham, if you would stand here, please. So, the scene is set in Melinda's apartment. Sylvia is already there. So if you stand here, Morden. Brenham, you stand facing her. Morden.
Welcome to South Coast Sylvia. I entered your retreat.
Morden.
Wait, I haven't finished yet. Here we have smoke, no and the air is intolerable.
Morden, you know the lines very well.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
But you might want to try and act them. Let's look at the scene. You're a rich lady. You're at home. Now, a rich lady would stand in a certain way. Try to stand like a rich lady. Try to look at Sylvia with a certain assurance.
Assurance?
Confidence. Like this. You've seen rich ladies before, haven't you?
I've robbed a few.
How did they behave?
They screamed.
I mean before you robbed them.
I don't know, I was watching their purses.
Have you ever seen a lady in her own home?
Once, when I was a little girl, I used to climb up the big houses. I didn't take anything. I used to just stand there, looking. Like this.
But if it was your own home, you would think it was normal to live like that.
It's not normal. It's not normal when others have nothing.
When acting, you have to imagine things. You have to imagine you're someone different. So now, think of a rich lady and imagine you're her. What are you doing?
If I was rich, I'd eat myself sick.
Oh yeah, me too. Potatoes.
Roast beef and Yorkshire pudding.
Soft, wet bread.
Oh, hearts of palm.
Oh, 4 fried eggs.
Yeah.
6 fried eggs.
Eels, oysters.
If we could get on with the scene, please.
12 fried eggs.
Wise hammer. Brenham, it's your line.
Oh, madame, I have heard the town commended for its air. But you do not consider, Sylvia, how long I've lived in it.
That's good, but you needn't be quite so angry with her.
She didn't look at me.
Ah, she didn't. She will now.
For I can assure you that to a lady the least nice in her constitution could be no good help of a year of change of air, and I think it would be the most agreeable variety in life.
But prithee, Melinda, don't put on such an air to me.
That's excellent, Brennan. You could be a little sharper on the don't.
Don't. Your education and mine were just the same. And I remember a time when we never troubled our heads about air, but when the sharp air from the Welsh mountains made our noses drop on a cold morning at the boarding school.
That's good, Brennan. Good. Morden?
Our education cousin was the same, but our temper is
That's a little better, Morden, but you needn't be quite so angry with her. Brennan, it's your slide. Is it? Go on.
I haven't finished my speech.
Please excuse me.
No, I didn't mean to. I mean, I didn't have to.
Please do.
You have the constitution of a horse.
That's better, but you must always remember you're a lady. What can we do to help you? Lucy.
That's you.
duckling.
See that little piece of wood? Fetch it to Melinda. That will be her foul.
I'm not fetching nothing for Liz Morton.
She's not Liz, she's Melinda. Your mistress. You're her servant. Now, fetch her this piece of wood.
Here.
Thank you, Lucy. I do much appreciate your effort.
No, you would nod your head.
Don't add any words to the play.
Lucy, stand behind Morgan.
What do I say?
Nothing.
How will they know I'm here? Where does she get all the lines? Wait, can I have some of hers?
Brenham, it's your speech.
So far as to be troubled with spleen, colic, or vapors. I need no salt for my stomach. No.
Major Ross, Captain Campbell, I'm rehearsing.
Rehearsing! Rehearsing!
Ha! Rehearsing!
Lieutenant Clark is rehearsing. Lieutenant Clark asked us to give the prisoners 2 hours so he could rehearse, and what has he done with them? What?
Other things! Ha!
Where are the prisoners, Cable and Arscott, Lieutenant?
They seem to be late.
While you were rehearsing, Arscott and Cable slipped into the woods with 3 others, so 5 men have run away, and it's all because of your damned play and your so-called thespists. And not only have your thespists run away, they've stolen food from the stores for their renegade escapade. That's what your play has done.
I don't see...
I said it from the beginning! This play will bring down calamity on this colony!
I don't see...
The devil, Lieutenant, always comes through the mind here. Worms its way, idleness and work.
Major Ross, I can't
Listen to me! My lad, you're a second lieutenant, and you don't agree or disagree with Major Ross.
Discipline!
Caesar! He started going with them and came back.
That's all right, he's not in the play.
Yes, I am, Lieutenant. I am...
John Wisehammer.
I didn't have anything to do with it.
You're Jewish, aren't you? You're guilty. Cable was last seen near Wisehammer's hut. Liz Morton. She was observed next to the company's stores late last night in the company of Arscott, who was supposed to be repairing the door. Liz Morton, you will be tried for stealing from the stores. You know the punishment? Death by hanging. And now, you may continue to rehearse, Lieutenant.
The recruiting officer. Good title. But a play. A play! It's a lucky day, huh?
Luck! Luck! Don't know the word. Shifts and bobs when I comes near. Born under an eight-penny planet, I was. Dad's a nibbler, doesn't want to get cracked. Mom leaves. 5 brothers, and I'm the only girl. I takes in washing. Then One night, my own father. Lady's walking down the street. He takes her handkerchief. She screams. He shoulder claps, says, "It's not me, sir. Look, it's Lizzie. She took it." I'm stripped, beaten in the streets, everyone watching. That night, I take my dad's cudgel and I try to kill him. Instead, I prig all his clothes and go to my older brother. He doesn't want me. Another tooth, Liz. Why trying for a make when you can walk for a winning, eh? I'm no Dimbermore, I said. Don't ask you to be a swell molisher, sister. Men want Miss Laycock. Don't look at your mug. So, I begin to sell my mother of saints. I think I'm in luck when I meet this swell cove. He's a bobcall, sports a different handkerchief every day of the week. He says to me, "It's not enough to sell your mozzie face, Lizzie. Don't bring no shiners no more." So, he teaches me how to spice the swells. So, swell has me up against the wall. He flashes a pocket watch. I lifts it. But one time, I stir my stumps too slow. The swell squeaks, "Beef! Beef!" The snoozy hears. I'm nibbed. And it's up the ladder to rest, methinks. But the judge's a bobcon. I get the king's pardon, but it's 7 years across the herring pond for me. Jesus Christ, the hunger on the ship. The sailors won't touch me. No ransom, scantum, no food. But the governor says, "New life. You could do well here, Lizzie." I think, decent governor, funny play, good crew of rufflers, Cable, Arscott. But no, Ross don't like my mug. Now it's up the ladder to rest for good. Well, Lizzie Morden's life. What about you, Wisehammer? How did you get here?
Betrayal, barbarous falsehood, intimidation, injustice.
Speak in English, Wisehammer.
I didn't do it. I'm innocent. I'll keep saying I didn't do it either.
Doesn't matter what you say. If they say you're a thief, you're a thief.
I am not a thief. I'll go back to England, to the snub shop of Rickett and Rhodes and say, "See, I'm back, I'm innocent."
They won't listen.
You can't live if you think that way. I'm sorry. 7 years and I'll go back.
What do you want to go back to England for? You're not English.
I was born in England. I'm English. What do I have to do to make people believe I'm English?
You have to think English. I hate England, but I think English. And him, Arscott, he hasn't said a word since they brought him back in, but he's thinking English.
I don't want to think English. If I think English, I will die. I want to go back to Madagascar and think Malagasy. I want to die in Madagascar and join my ancestors.
Doesn't matter when you die, when you're dead.
If I die here, I will have no spirit. I want to go home. I will escape again.
There's no escape.
This time I lost my courage. But next time, my ancestors will help me.
There's no escape.
My ancestors will know the way.
There's no escape, I tell you! You walk in circles out there. That's all you do. You go out there and you walk and walk and you don't reach China. You come back on your steps if the savages don't get you first. Even a compass doesn't work in this upside-down desert. Here, you can read. Why didn't it work? What does it say?
It says north.
Why didn't it work then? Why did I end up going in circles? Why did I not reach China?
Because it's not a compass.
I gave a sailor my last shilling for it. He said it was a compass.
It's not a compass. It's a piece of paper with north written on it. He lied, deceived, he betrayed you.
Ladies, gentlemen, fellow players, we have come to visit, to commiserate, to offer our humble services.
Get out! Liz, we've come to rehearse the play.
Rehearse the play.
The lieutenant has gone to talk to the governors. Harry said we can come and see you.
The lieutenant has asked me to stand in his place, so we don't lose time. We'll start with the first scene between Melinda and Brazen.
How can I play Captain Brazen in chains?
This is the theater. We will believe you.
Where does Kite come in?
Madam, I have brought you your fan.
I hear you want to stop the play, Lieutenant.
Half of my cast are in chains, sir.
That is a difficulty, but it can be overcome. Is that your only reason?
So many people seem against it, sir.
Are you afraid?
No, sir, but I do not wish to displease my superior officers.
If you break conventions, it's inevitable you make enemies, Lieutenant. This play irritates them.
Yes, and I.
Socrates irritated the state of Athens and was put to death for it.
Sir!
Would you have a world without Socrates?
Sir,
In the Meno, one of Plato's great dialogues. Have you read it, Lieutenant? Socrates demonstrates that a slave boy can learn the principles of geometry as well as a gentleman. In other words, he shows that human beings have an intelligence which has nothing to do with the circumstances into which they are born. Sit down, Lieutenant. It is a matter of reminding the slave boy of what he knows, of his own intelligence. And by intelligence, you may read goodness, talent, the innate qualities of human beings.
I see, sir.
When Socrates treats the slave boy as a rational human being, the boy becomes one. He loses his fear, and he becomes a competent mathematician. A little more encouragement, and he might become an extraordinary mathematician. Who knows? You must see your actors in that light.
I can see some of them, sir, but there are others. John Orscott.
He has been sentenced 200 lashes for trying to escape. It will take time for him to see himself as a human being again.
Liz Morden.
Liz Morden. I had a reason for asking you to cast her as Melinda.
Sir?
Morden is one of the most difficult women in the colony.
She is indeed, sir.
Lower than a slave, full of loathing, foul-mouthed, desperate.
Exactly, sir, and violent.
Quite to be made an example of.
By hanging?
No, Lieutenant, by redemption.
The Reverend says he's given up on her, sir.
The Reverend's an ass, Lieutenant. I'm speaking of redeeming her humanity.
I'm afraid there may not be much left of
How
that,
do
sir.
we know what humanity lies hidden under the rags and filth of a mangled life? I've seen soldiers given up for dead, limbs torn, heads cut open, come back to life. If we treat her as a corpse, of course she will die. Try a little kindness, Lieutenant.
But will she be hanged?
I don't want a woman to be hanged. You will have to help, Ralph.
Sir.
I had retired from His Majesty's service. I was farming. I'm not sure why they asked me to rule over this colony of wretched souls, but I will fulfill my responsibility. No one will stop me.
No, sir.
What is a statesman's responsibility? To ensure the rule of the law. But the citizens must be taught to obey that law of their own will. I want to rule over responsible human beings, not tyrannize over a group of animals. I want there to be a contract between us, not a whip on my side, terror and hatred on theirs. And you must help me, Ralph.
Yes, sir. The play
won't change much, but it is the diagram that may just remind the slave boy. Do you understand?
I think so.
We may fail. I may have a mutiny on my hands. They are trying to convince the Admiralty that I am mad.
Sir!
And they will threaten you. You don't want to be second lieutenant all your life.
No, sir.
I cannot go over the head of Major Ross in the matter of promotion.
I see, sir.
But we have embarked, Ralph. We must stay afloat. There is a more serious threat, and it may capsize us all.
Sir?
If a ship does not come within 3 months, the supplies will be exhausted. In a month, I will cut the rations, again. Harry's not well. Could you do something? Good luck with the play, Lieutenant.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, and Ralph?
Yes, sir?
Unexpected situations are often matched by unexpected virtues in people, are they not?
I believe they are, sir.
A play is a world in itself, a tiny colony, we could say. And you are in charge of it. That is a great responsibility.
I will lay down my life if I have to, sir.
I don't think it will come to that. You need only do your best.
I will, sir. I promise.
Good, good. I look forward to seeing it. I'm sure it will be a success.
It's a wonderful play, sir.
I'm sure it is.
Thank you, sir.
Some dreams lose their way and wander over the earth, lost. But this is a dream no one wants. It has stayed. But why? This dream, if we can befriend it, it will leave. But the question is how? How can we satisfy this dream?
Come on, sir.
Mary, help me.
Come on, Lieutenant.
Here is some of your caterwauling cast, Lieutenant. The governor said release prisoners. Unchain Wisehammer and the Savage, Captain Campbell. She stays in chains. She's being tried tomorrow. We don't want her sloping off.
I cannot rehearse with one of my players enchained, Major.
Difficult!
Well, tell the governor you didn't need them. And take her back to prison.
No! We shall manage. Sideway, go over the scene you rehearsed in prison with Melinda.
Yes,
please.
Mr. Clark. I'm in that scene too, Lieutenant.
No, you're not.
Yes, he is, Lieutenant. He's my servant.
Ah, yes, of course. The rest of us will go from Sylvia's entrance as Jack. I'll read Captain Blue.
Oh, the wee lieutenant wants to be in the play too. He wants to be promoted to convict. We'll have you in the chain gang soon, Mr. Clark.
Major, we will rehearse now. We wish to rehearse.
No one's stopping you, Lieutenant.
Major, rehearsals must take place in the utmost privacy. Secrecy, if you will. The actors are not yet ready to be seen by the public.
Not ready to be seen?
Major, there is a modesty attached to the process of creation which must be respected.
Modesty? Modesty. Sideway. Come here.
Major, sideways.
Lieutenant! I would not try to countermand the orders of the superior officer.
Obedience! First rule!
Sideway! Get your shirt off. 100 lashes on the serious for answering an officer. Do you remember, Sideway? 300 lashes for trying to strike the same officer. I have seen the white of this animal's bones. His wretched blood and reeky convict urine have spilled on my boots, and he's feeling modest? Are you feeling modest, Skyway? Modest. Bryant. Here. Down. On all fours. Now, wag your tail and bark, and I'll throw you a biscuit. What? You've forgotten? Isn't that how you begged for your food on the ship? Wag your tail, Bryant. Bark. We'll wait.
Woof! Woof! Woof!
Brenna. Where's your tattoo, Brenna? Show us. I can't see it. Show us. If you can't manage, I'll help you. I can't see it.
What pleasures I may receive abroad are indeed uncertain, but this I am sure. I shall meet with less cruelty in the most barbarous nations than I have found at home.
Come, sir. You and I have been jangling a great while. I fancy if we made up our accounts, we should sooner come to an agreement.
Sure, madam. You won't dispute your being in my debt. My fears, vows, promises, anxieties, assiduities, jealousies have gone on for a whole year without any payment.
Good that. Sighs, vows, promises, anxieties.
Captain Campbell! Start Arscott's punishment!
Oh, Mr. Worthy, what you owe to me is not to be paid under a 7-year servitude. How have you used me in the year before? How have you used me in the year before?
When taking advantage...
When taking advantage of my innocence, my necessities!
I don't want to do this.
Get on with it, Freeman.
I have to measure you. You'll have to stand, Liz. Please, I won't hurt you. I mean, now and if I have the measurements right, I can make it quick. Very quick. Please. She doesn't want to get up, Mr. Brewer. I can come back later.
Hurry up!
I can't measure her unless she gets up. I have to measure her to judge the drop. And if the rope's too short, it won't hang her. And if the rope's too long, it can pull her head off. It's very difficult, Mr. Bruin. I've always done my best. But I've never hung a woman.
You've hung a boy. You've hung a boy.
That was a terrible mess, Mr. Brewer. Don't you remember? It took 20 minutes, and even then he wasn't dead. Remember how he danced and everyone laughed? I don't want to repeat something like that again, Mr. Brewer. Not now. Someone had to get a hold of his legs to weigh him down and
measure her, Freeman!
Yes, sir, but could you tell her to get up? She'll listen to you.
Get up, you scum! Now measure her!
The lieutenant is talking to the governor again. Maybe he'll change his mind. At least he might wait until we've done the play. I don't want to do this. I know what you're thinking. In my place you wouldn't, but someone has to do it, and if I don't, I'll be gentle. I won't hurt you. It's wrong, Mr. Brewer. It's wrong.
It's wrong. Death is horrible. There's no food left in the colony, and she steals it and gives it to Cable to run away.
That's true, Liz. You shouldn't have stolen that food. I mean, even then, when the lieutenant trusted us, that was wrong. Liz, actors can't behave like normal people. They can't even behave like normal criminals. Still, I'm sorry. I'll do my best.
I had plans. Are you finished?
Yes, I have all the measurements I need. Wait, except one. I need to lift her. If you don't mind, do you, Liz? She's so light. I'll have to use very long rope. Fig tree would be better, it's higher. When will they build me some gallows, Mr. Brewer? Nobody will laugh at you, Liz. You won't be ashamed.
You could hang yourself. Are you finished? Let's go.
Goodbye, Liz. You're a very good Melinda. No one will be as good as you.
Mr. Brewer! Tell the lieutenant.
What?
Tell him I didn't steal the food. Tell him afterwards.
Afterwards? Why didn't you say this before?
Please tell the lieutenant.
Why are you lying now? A pain at the back of the neck!
Mr. Brewer!
Then nothing! I can't see!
Ghosts and a multitude have spilled from the stream. But why? Who are they? A swarm of ancestors comes through unmended cracks in the sky. But why? What do they need? How? How can we befriend this crowded, hungry, and disturbed dream?
For I swear, madam, by the honour of my profession, that whatever dangers I went upon, it was with the hope of making myself more worthy of your esteem. And if I ever had any thoughts of preserving my life, it was for the pleasure of dying at your feet.
Well, well. You shall die at my feet, or where you will. But you know, sir, there's a certain will and testament to be made beforehand. I don't understand why Sylvia has asked Plume to make a will.
It's a proof of his love.
A will is a proof of love?
No. Will used in another sense. He must show his willingness to marry her. Dying is used in another sense too.
He gives her his will to indicate that he intends to take care of her.
That's right, Lieutenant. Marriage is nothing, but will you look after her?
Plume is too ambitious to marry Sylvia.
If I had been Sylvia, I would have trusted Plume.
When dealing with men, always have a contract.
Love is a contract.
Love is the barter of perishable goods, a man's word for a woman's body.
Dabby is right. If a man loves a woman, he should marry her.
Sometimes he can't.
Then she should look for someone who can.
A woman should look after her own interests. That's all.
Her interest is to love.
Ha! A girl will love the first man who knows how to open her legs. She's called a whore and ends up here. I could write scenes, Lieutenant. Women with real lives, not these Shrewsbury prudes.
I've written something, Lieutenant. Will you have a look at it? The prologue to this play won't make any sense to the convicts. In ancient times, when Helen's fatal charms, and so on. Here. mustn't trust the wrong people, Mary. We can make a new life together. Here, I would marry you. Think about it, Mary. He'll have to put you in a hut at the bottom of his garden. You could live in a house with me. He'll have to call you his servant in public. That is, his whore. Don't do it, Mary.
Lieutenant, are we rehearsing or not? Ascot and I have been waiting for hours.
That's right, Lieutenant. It seems very interesting. I'll read it more carefully later.
You don't like it.
I do like it. Perhaps it needs a little more work. It's not farquhar.
It would mean much more to the convicts.
We'll talk about it more carefully later.
Do you think it should be longer?
I'll think about it.
Shorter? Do you like the last two lines? Mary helped me with them.
Nah.
First lines took us days. Didn't they, Mary?
Let's rehearse the first scene where Sylvia comes on as Jack Wolf. You're in the scene, Weisham. Bryant will come to your scenes in a minute. Now, Brenna, remember what I showed you yesterday about walking like a gentleman? I've ordered some breeches to be made for you. You can practice in them tomorrow.
I'll tuck my skirt.
Save ye, gentlemen.
My dear, I'm yours. Mwah. Mwah.
It doesn't say Sylvia is kissed in the stage directions.
Plume kisses her later, and there's a line about men kissing in the army. I thought Brazen would kiss her immediately.
It's completely wrong.
It's right for the character Brazen.
No, it isn't. I'm the director, Wisehammer.
Yes, but I have to play the part. They're both captains, and they're equal in this scene, and fight for her later. Who's playing Plume in our performance?
I will have to, as Cable hasn't come back. It's your line.
Will I be given a sword?
I doubt it. Let's move on. Let's move on to Bryant's entrance. To Kite's entrance.
Sir, if you please!
Excellent, excellent, Oscott. But perhaps we should give you our last line so you know when to come in. Wisehammer?
The fellow dare not fight.
That's when you come in.
Sir, if you please!
What about me? I haven't done anything either. You always rehearse the scenes with Sylvia.
Let's rehearse the scene where Rose comes on with her brother Bullock. It's a better scene for you, Oscott. Do you know it?
Yes.
Good. Wisehammer, you'll have to play the part of Bullock.
What? Play two parts?
Major Ross won't let any more prisoners off work. Some of you will have to play several parts.
It will completely confuse the audience. They'll think Brazen is Bullock and Bullock Brazen.
Nonsense. If the audience are paying attention, they'll know that Bullock is a country boy and Brazen a captain.
What if they aren't paying attention?
People who can't pay attention shouldn't go to the theatre.
If you act well, they will have to pay attention.
It will completely ruin my entrance as Captain Brazen.
You will play two very different parts and display the full range of your abilities.
Our audience won't be that discerning.
Their imagination will be challenged and trained. Let's Oscott.
Sir, look yonder, sir, a coming this way. It is the prettiest, cleanest little bird.
Now, Worthing, he's in the scene. Where's Sideway?
He's so upset about Liz, he won't rehearse.
I have to talk to the governor, but he has to rehearse. We must do the play whatever happens. We've been rehearsing for 5 months. Let's go on.
And here she comes. And what is this great country fellow with her?
I can't tell, sir.
I'm not a great country fellow.
Act it, Wisehammer.
Buy chickens, young and tender chickens. This is a very stupid line and I'm not saying it.
Bryant, the line is written by the playwright and you have to say it. Here, you chickens.
Who calls?
Bryant, you're playing a pretty country wench who wants to entice the captain. You have to say the lines with more charm and blushes.
I don't blush.
Oh, I can't do this scene without sideways. Let's do another scene. I'll start. Let's look at your big speeches. I haven't heard them yet. Oh, I still need sideway. This is irresponsible. He has to rehearse. Somebody go and get sideway.
I'll do the first speech anyway, sir.
Sir, yes, sir! Look yonder, sir! I understand my business! Look, sir, if you must know it, I was born a gypsy and bred amongst the crew till I was 10 years old. There, island counting and lying!
That's about me!
I was bought from my mother, Cleopatra, by a certain nobleman who, liking my beauty, for 3 guineas made me his page.
That's my story. Why do I have to play silly milkmaid? Why can't I play kite?
You can't play a man, Daddy.
You're playing a man, Jack Wilful.
Yes, but in the play, I know I'm a woman. Whereas if you were to play kite, you would have to think you were a man.
If Weishammer can think he's a big country lad,
Oi.
then I can think I'm a man. People will use their imagination, and people with no imagination shouldn't go to the theatre.
Bryant, you're muddling everything.
No, I see things very clearly, and I'm making you see clearly, Lieutenant. I want to play kite.
You can't play kite. I'm playing kite. You cannot steal my pie.
You may have to play Melinda.
All she does is marry sideways. That's not interesting.
I'm sorry I'm late, Lieutenant, but I know all my lines.
We'll rehearse the first scene between Justice Balance and Sylvia. Brennan?
Oh, crying out.
Whilst there is life, there is hope, sir. Perhaps my brother may recover.
We have a little reason to expect it.
I can't. Not with him, not with Liz. I can't.
One has to transcend personal feelings in the theatre.
Mary!
We're not making much progress today. Let's end this rehearsal.
Captain Plume. Captain Plume. Captain Plume. I despise your listing money. If I do serve, 'tis purely for love of that wench. For you must know, etc., etc. So, you only want an opportunity for accomplishing your designs upon him. Well, sir, I am satisfied to a point in debate. But let me beg you to lay aside your recruiting airs, put on the man of honor, and tell me plainly what usage I must expect when I'm under your command. And something tells me that if you do discharge me, it will be the greatest punishment you can inflict. For were we this moment to go upon the greatest dangers of your profession, they would be less terrible to me than to stay behind you. And now your hand. This lists me, and now you are my captain.
Your friend. Steph, there's something in this fellow that charms me.
One favor I must beg. This affair will make some noise.
Sylvia.
I must therefore take care to be impressed by an act of Parliament.
What you please as to that. Would you lodge at my quarters in the meantime? You shall have part of my bed. Sylvia, Mary.
Am I doing it well? It's difficult to play a man. It's not in the walk, it's the way you hold your head. A man never bows his head so much and never at an angle. I must face you without lowering my head. Let's try it again.
What you please as to that. Would you lodge at my quarters in the meantime? You shall have part of my bed. Mary, will you?
Yes. So, have you ever looked at the body of a woman before?
I've never looked at the body of a woman before.
Your wife?
It didn't seem right. Let me see you.
Yes. Let me see you.
Yes.
She refused to defend herself at trial. She didn't say a word. This was taken as an admission of guilt, and she was condemned to be hanged. The evidence against her, however, is flimsy.
She was seen with Cable next to the food stores. That is a fingering fact.
She was seen by a drunken Marine in the dark. He's admitted to being drunk and that he saw her at a distance. He knew the Cable was meant to be repairing the door, and she is known to be friends with Cable and Arscott. But she won't speak. She won't say where she was. That is our difficulty.
She won't speak because she's guilty.
Silence has many causes, Robbie.
She won't speak because of the convict code of honor. She doesn't want to beg for her life.
Convict code of honor. This pluming play has muddled the Muffy Lieutenant's mind.
My only fear, Your Excellency, is that she refused to speak because she no longer believes in the process of justice. If this is so, the courts here will become travesties. I do not want this.
If she won't speak, there is nothing more we can do. You cannot get at the truth through silence.
She spoke to Harry Brewer.
But Harry never regained consciousness before he died.
James Freeman was there and he told me what she said.
Why wasn't this used at trial?
Freeman's evidence wasn't very clear. And since Liz Morden wouldn't confirm what he said, it was dismissed.
You can't take the word of a crooked, crawling hangman.
Robbie, we may be about to hang the first woman in this colony. I do not want to hang the first innocent woman.
We must get at the truth.
Truth! We have 800 thieves, perjurers, foragers, murderers, liars, escapers, rapists, whores, coiners in this scrub-ridden, dust-ridden, thunderbolted, savage-run, cretinous colony. My Marines, who are trained to fight, are turned into Galilee jailers, fed less than the prisoners.
The rations, Major, are the same for all, prisoners and soldiers.
They are entitled to more, which makes them have less. Not a ship shifting into sight. The prisoners running away, stealing, drinking, and the wee ductile lieutenant talks about the truth.
The truth is indeed a luxury, but its absence brings about the most abject poverty in a civilization. That is the paradox.
This is a profligate prison for us all. It's a hellish hole we soldiers have been hauled to because they blame us for losing the war in America. This is a hateful, hairy, scary, topsy-turvy outpost. This is not a civilization. I hate this possumy place.
Perhaps we could return to the question of Liz Morden. Captain Campbell! Liz Morden, you must speak. If you can defend yourself, His Excellency can overrule the court. We would not then risk a miscarriage of justice. But you must speak the truth. Did you steal that food with the escaped prisoner, Cable? It is the accused who must answer, Lieutenant.
Liz Morden, you must speak the truth.
Morden, no one will despise you for telling the truth.
That is not so, Lieutenant. Tell the truth and face the contempt. That is the history of great men. You may be despised, but you will have shown courage.
If that soldier has lied...
There! He's accusing my soldiers of lying. It's that play. It makes fun of officers. It shows an officer lying and cheating. It shows a corrupt justice as well. Collins, this is not a good idea to have.
Mark that! Very funny!
Et tu, Campbell?
What? Men told me, if he be so good at gunning, he may have enough. He may be of use against the French, for he shoots flying. And there's this constant...
Campbell!
The play seems to be having miraculous effects already.
Indeed.
Don't you want to be in it, Liz?
Malden, you must speak.
We will listen to you.
Do it for the good of the colony and of the play.
I didn't steal the food.
Were you there when the prisoner Cable stole it?
No, I was there before.
And you knew he was going to steal it?
Yes.
Guilty! She didn't report it. Failure to inform is not a hangable offense. Conspiracy! We may need a retrial.
Why wouldn't you say any of this before?
Because she didn't have time to invent a lie. Major, you are demeaning the process of law.
Why, Liz?
Because it wouldn't have mattered.
Speaking the truth?
Speaking.
You're taking the word of a convict against the word of a soldier. A soldier who was drunk and uncertain of what he saw. A soldier is a soldier and has a right to respect. You will have revolt on your hands.
I'm sure I will. But let us see the play first. Liz, I hope you are good in your part.
She will be, Your Excellency. I promise that.
Your Excellency, I will endeavor to speak Mr. Farquhar's lines with the elegance and clarity their own work commands.
Pustules on my skin, heat on my forehead. Maybe we have been wrong all this time, and this is not a dream after all.
Are the savages coming to see the play as well?
They come around, they can't because they're dying. Smallpox.
Oh, I hope they don't disturb the audience.
Everyone is here. All the officers, too.
Debbie could take your part.
No, I'll do it. I'll remember my lies.
I've brought you an orange from Lieutenant Clark's island.
Harry Brewer's tent.
Why? He would have wanted that.
Major Ross said, a whore is a whore, and I was to go into the woman's camp. They've taken all Harry's things.
I'll talk to the lieutenant.
If you forget your lines, tap my foot and I'll whisper them to you.
We still haven't practiced the bow. Oh, Garrett used to do his like this. Up to the circle, to the sides, straight down the middle, and bow. You must make everybody believe that you are looking at them. Come, get in the line, we shall practice.
I'm in the middle.
Hey!
I'm the tallest.
No, Arscott, I'm in the middle.
Dabby, I believe you should be next to Mary.
I won't take the bow.
You may not have the biggest part, right? But you'll be noticed.
I don't want to be noticed.
Very well. Come, follow after me. We must time this right. If we don't, it'll look a mess. Up to the circle. To the sides. To the sides. Straight down the middle and back. Let us try again. I shall watch this. Up to the circle. To the right. To the left. Straight down the middle and back.
Hooray! Hooray! Hooray!
No, they will be shouting bravo, but we're not quite in a line yet.
I wasn't looking at the bow. I saw the whole play, and we all knew our lines. And Mary, you look so beautiful. And after that, I saw Devon, and they were shouting, bravo! Bravo, Dabby! Hooray! You've escaped! You've sailed thousands and thousands of miles on the open sea, and you've come back to your Devon. Bravo, Dabby! Bravo!
When are you doing this, Dabby?
Tonight. I'll be in the play till the end. Then, in the confusion, we can slip away. The tide is up, and the night is dark. Everything's ready.
The lieutenant will be blamed. I won't let you.
If you say anything to the lieutenant, I'll refuse to act in the play.
When I say my lines, I think of nothing else. Why can't you do the same?
Because it's only for one night. I want to grow old in Devon.
You'll never let us do another play. I'm telling the lieutenant.
No, you're not!
Please, I want to go back to Devon.
I don't want to go back to England now. It's too small. They don't like Jews. Here, no one has any more of a right than anyone else to call you a foreigner. I want to become the first famous writer.
You can't become a famous writer until you're dead.
You can if you're the only one.
I want to start a theater company. Who wants to be in it?
I will write you a play about justice.
Only comedies, my boy. Only comedies.
What about a comedy about unrequited love?
Yes, that would be great.
I'll be in your company, Mr. Sideway.
And so will I. I'll play all the parts that have dignity and gravity.
Yes. I shall hold auditions tomorrow.
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 Where's my hat?
Oh, stop! Remember to look at the soldiers when you talk of recruiting.
Stop!
Look at them. You are talking to them. And don't forget, all of you, to leave a space for people to laugh.
I'll kill anyone who laughs at me.
They're not laughing at you, they're laughing at Farquhar's lines. You must expect them to laugh.
That's all right. But if I see Major Ross or any of the officers laughing at me, I'll kill them.
No more violence. And by the way, Scott, when you carry me off the stage as Jack Wolfo, could you please be a little more gentle? I'm not sure that he'd be so rough with a young gentleman.
Where's Caesar? I saw him walking towards the beach earlier. I thought he was practicing his lines.
Caesar! When I say, do you love fishing, madame, do you say something then?
I am so sorry, Dumpling. Harry was my friend.
I loved him, but now he'll never know that. I thought that if he knew, he'd become cruel.
Are you certain you don't want Dabby to take your part?
No, I will do it. I'll remember the lines. He likes to hear me say the lines.
He will be watching from somewhere. How beautiful you look.
I dreamt I had a necklace of pearls,
And 6 children.
If we have a boy, we shall call him Harry.
And if we have a girl?
She will be called Betsy Alicia.
Lying on the beach, dead drunk.
Please, Lieutenant, all those people, I can't. My ancestors will be angry. They do not want me to be laughed at by all those people.
Caesar, you asked to be in the play, and you will be in the play.
My ancestors will kill me.
I'm nervous too, but I've overcome it. You have to be brave to be an actor.
He's right. You're gonna ruin my first scene.
Please, Lieutenant, save me.
Caesar, if I were back home, I wouldn't be in this play either. My ancestors wouldn't be very pleased to see me here.
I cannot be a disgrace to Madagascar.
But our ancestors are thousands of miles away.
You'll be more of a disgrace if you don't come up with me on that stage. Now!
Think of us as your family.
What do you mean? Caesar, I am your lieutenant, and I command you to go on that stage. If you don't, you'll be tried and hanged for treason.
And I'll tie the ropes in such a way that you'll dangle there for hours, full of piss and shit.
All right, I'll do it.
What will your ancestors think of that,
I'll
Caesar?
do it.
Caesar's drama. Davy, have you got your chickens?
My chickens? Yeah? Yeah?
Are you alright?
Yeah. I was dreaming.
Of your future success.
Yeah. Of my future success.
And so is everyone here, I hope. Now, Scott.
Sir!
Calm.
I've been used to danger, sir.
What is here?
What's that?
Salt. It's for good luck.
Where did you get that from?
I've been saving it from my rations. I brought enough so everybody could have some.
Lieutenant,
Yes, Whitehammer?
There's this prologue.
Ah, the prologue. I forgot. Let me hear it.
From distant climes o'er widespread seas we come, though not much with the clay or beat of drum. True patriots all, for be it understood, we left our country for our country's good, and no private views disgraced our generous zeal. What urged our travels was our country's weal, and none will doubt but that our emigration has proved most useful to the British nation.
When Major Ross hears that, he'll have an apoplectic fit.
I think it's very good.
So do I. And true.
But not very theatrical.
It's very good, Whitehammer. Very well written. But it's too political. It would be seen as provocative.
You don't want me to say it?
Not tonight. We have too many people against us.
I could tone it down, I could omit. We left our country for our country's good.
That's the best line.
It would be wrong to cut it.
I worked so hard on it.
You will get much praise as brazen, Whitehammer.
It's not the same as writing.
We shall use it in the sideway theatre.
Whitehammer, the theatre is like a small republic. It requires private sacrifices for the good of the whole. That is something you should agree with, Whitehammer. And now, my actors. I want to say what a pleasure it has been to work with you all. You are on your own tonight, and you must do your utmost to provide the large audience out there with a pleasurable, intelligible, and memorable evening.
We will do our best, Mr. Cormac. I love this.
All stop.
You are 3 steps ahead of me. You stumble once. No.
You're on.
Move! Hold it! If any gentlemen, soldiers, or others have a mind to serve Her Majesty and pull down the French king, if any prentices have severe masters, any children undutiful parents, any servants too little wages, or any husband too much wife, then let them repair to the noble Sergeant Kite at the side of the Raven in this good town of Shrewsbury, where they will receive present relief and entertainment.